Hello and welcome to my channel. I have taken a very long break from having anything to bring to the outside world. I've been in a lot of deep dives in the healing journey, and I'm here today with a lot to say and a lot to bring forward for the collective, for anybody who tunes in on their journey. So, part of the reason I love astrology so much is because if we don't recognize the patterns within ourselves and within humanity, then we're more apt to repeat them. And I don't know about y'all, but the pressure cooker that I've been feeling has been very tangible. So I'm coming to you just prior to the full moon in Capricorn, June 2026. And this full moon is a culmination. All full moons are. It is where the sun in the opposing sign of Cancer. The sun is in the mother's sign. So that's what I've been really reflecting on where the mother, Cancer, what makes us feel emotionally safe, what patterns we perhaps have carried forward from mother wounds. And then it's illuminating and shining its light and communicating over to the moon in Capricorn, the outer world, the structures, the governance, the masculine energy. It's where emotions, Cancer, meet duty, Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So we're going to discuss today and try to work with these cycles always. That's what my whole purpose and my fabulous understanding on my journey of astrology is. We come into this earth plane a clean slate. If you believe in past lives, which I do, we also come in with the south node energy, whatever that is in your chart of past life stuff that can be re-triggered and restarted because it's familiar to us. So I know I'm a little bit scattered and all over, but the processing is so tangible. So a lot of deep emotion coming up on the family lineage, the Cancer energy of mother, what makes us feel emotionally safe and nurtured. And it's super magnified because we have the planet Jupiter that expands everything. It is a benefic energy, but it depends on what it is. It doesn't have to be beneficial. It can be just expanding inner wounds that people are walking around unaware of. So deep feels, deep emotions, especially linked to the mother archetype, because Jupiter is at 29 degrees. So it's a very powerful, what they call in astrology, anaretic degree. So it's getting ready to leave that sign of Cancer and move into Leo. So it's all shining this deep emotional feels of the mother, or perhaps where the deep emotions are so brutal and so deep that you resist it. And what I noticed being diagnosed with PTSD, whatever we resist comes back tenfold. We've been also programmed, Saturn energy, Capricorn energy, that in order to be productive, we need to be, dutiful and busting our asses. And it's just a program, right? So what our role in the world is in this matrix, we've been programmed to believe that if you're not productive physically, that you're not doing your work, you're not being a benefit to the society, which is so untrue. Sometimes the deepest work we can do is in our emotions, because I feel like we have a huge call right now, and there's always going to be a polarity, right? That's what we're seeing and feeling in the tangible world, is this friction of people who are on their journey and awakened versus the polar opposite of that, people walking around unaware, projecting their wounds onto others. And this carries out in our one-to-one relationships. And I don't mean just intimate relationships, I mean all relationships. So that's what happens when we have our awakening and we start holding ourselves accountable, is it becomes very isolating and you feel alone, because other people around you are perhaps not seeing the significance and the impact that they're having on everybody around them. So it becomes, like I said, my spiritual teacher always shared this, and it makes so much sense. Spiritual awakenings are not fun, and they're not love and light. They're deep. They take you deep. You spiral into your feels and your emotions, and it's important for us to walk forward, pardon me, on our healing journey, being aware of that. And the problem becomes very apparent when those around you are walking around very unaware, still carrying their mother-father wounds and not healing, whether it be jealousy, insecurities, or just plain out, not being able to communicate with you one-on-one in an adult manner to resolve any kind of disagreements or projections. So this full moon in Capricorn is really highlighting what I'm reflecting on, where our emotions are meeting structure, right? Emotions, Cancer, fourth house, our role in the world, our duty, our structure, Saturn, Capricorn, 10th house. And everybody's at a different level of where they are. And then there's so many people that are still so unaware of how each one of us co-creates, and how we need to end the patterns of not only the cycles of astrology, because we're always in cycles of it. We're in this evolution, but are we carrying forward the same karmic fucking lessons, or are we rising? And again, it's not fun when you're awake, because not everybody around you is going to be. And so you're still dealing with these energetic blows of your auric field if you're not protecting yourself, and trying your best not to absorb the unaware things that people say do, whether it be on an intimate one-to-one relationship or just the collective. I, for example, leave my home every day, and I am definitely far from so evolved that nothing sticks to me, because I do absorb still, being an empath, but I've been in my prayers and my protection, talking with God, Yeshua, the Holy Spirit, my son in spirit, to just help me build a stronger energetic field around me for protection. So where I was going with this is, your journey can feel very isolated, but at this time we've been going deep in the feels and the emotions, especially with the maternal wounds. And that leads me to, the feminine, masculine that are unhealed. In order to have healthy relationships, you have to have two people self-aware and understand that insecurities, jealousy, projections are all a wound within you, and you don't need another person to mirror that to you. You should be holding yourself accountable, and people are not. It's me. It's cutthroat. It's dog eat dog. That's the low side of Capricorn energy, right? The full moon here happening. Me, stepping on the necks and stepping on the backs of other people just to climb that physical ladder, right? So it's important for us on our journey to understand that being physically dutiful is not always the highest and the holiest work we're doing. Sometimes it's going into our inner sanctuary, our inner being, and processing the emotions and the feels that are so very deep right now in the body so that we can transform them and have more fulfilling feelings within ourselves, but then taking that out to expand in our personal lives and our relationships. Relationships are always mirrors. So I think the pattern in my life is definitely I was never emotionally felt nurtured. I've never in my past at a young age felt heard. So speaking clearly, that's why it's so important for me. Knowing when to go within and be quiet and still and reflect, and knowing when to speak. And so I'm finally here on my journey coming forward. I don't even know how long it's been since I recorded a video. But I was in deep reflection of the unhealed masculine and feminine. And as we know, that's not just a male or female thing. It's the feminine masculine within us. Where I, as a single mother, was very masculine because I had to raise 2 children by myself, but I was out there searching at a young age to feel seen and heard, and I thought the first, boy out there giving me attention, it felt good, right? To be finally think that you were seen and heard when really it was toxic as F, and I hold myself accountable to that now, of not just putting myself out there for just anybody and knowing when to reel back in. Healthy boundaries with ourselves first and then out with others, including all relationships that we have. So yeah, the Jupiter in Cancer at 29 degrees, up on the opposite side of the spectrum of this full moon has really got the deep, big feelings, big emotions surfacing. So we'll talk about a few of the integration symptoms that I'm feeling right now in the body, because I'm a Virgo. I'm double Earth, actually. Sun, Virgo, Taurus, Moon. So I feel a lot in my body. And some of the symptoms I've been feeling is nausea, bubble guts. And then again, we have all of the astrology and the signs, but then we also have the sun and doing his thing, the solar energy, geomagnetic storms and CMEs, and then we have the synthetic energies of the towers and whatnot that are definitely fucking with me because I'm super sensitive to the influences of the energy and trying not to get pummeled by them. It's almost like those that are in the system know where we're at on our journey and our awakening, and so they're coming out with false frequencies to fucking distort the natural sun solar energies that is meant to cause us to have more of a Christ consciousness and an awakening. Because if you think about it, the solar energy comes into our atmosphere, comes into us, and it immediately hits the pineal gland, the vagus nerve, which is our central nervous system. So today I felt crazy amounts of buzzing energy within me, some jitteriness, some anxiety, building into this full moon, nausea and upset stomach, going from super hungry to not knowing what you want to eat, to another thing that I'm noticing is the bones, with Capricorn and Saturn. My teeth were hurting again. It rules over our bones and our structures. So a lot of people feeling sore bones and joints and legs and hips, and specifically for me, teeth. And then also more on the emotional side and whatnot. carrying, if you're awakened, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. A lot of neck and shoulder tension, adjustments in the vision again as well. And a lot of third eye as well if you're on the journey of awakening too, because I noticed today I had a sinus headache from hell that put me down most of the day. Feeling a lot of extreme thirst and dehydration. Anything else I want to cover that you might be feeling in the body? Major sleep disruptions, right? Like, so I was getting to this point where I was really getting good sleep again and just feeling refreshed, and then boom, something shifted to where waking up in the night several times, hot surges. That's another thing too. Again, you have to decipher and go, is this the natural cycle that we're in with the sun and the geomagnetic storms and CMEs and whatnot and the plasma? Or is it the synthetic, whether it be satellites, towers, you name it, because there's a lot of both going on. I'm back to turning the Wi-Fi off, my router off in my home at night again, because recently they rolled out the 6. And my phone was picking up on that on the top. If you notice that within you, I know there's other people that have noticed it as well, and I could immediately feel a shift in my energy. The 6-foot thing that happened, that heart coherence in our auric field goes out 6 feet around us. And there was no coincidence back in 2020 where they had the little foot marks already printed out and labeled ahead of time to get people to stand 6 feet apart. We'll go into that another story so I don't get flagged off my first video. However, I hope you can see me okay. That's another thing. Light sensitivity, noise sensitivity. Oh my God, since this new tower got put up very close to my home, I have, and I'm not the only one, there's a constant buzzing and very, very unsettling buzzing in the atmosphere. So everything is super sensory, and including in my house, like the fish tank pump that's normally don't bother me, the refrigerator running, you name it, everything seems to be supersonic, whether it be vision, it's our senses while we're in this body, whether it be vision adjustments, taste, smell, hearing, and the hearing is super highlighted right now. There was one more thing I wanted to bring up here before we do a few cards, and I'm hoping you can see me okay. If you can't see the cards here, when we pull some cards to go along with this energy read, I will try to turn on a brighter light, but I've just not wanted bright light, loud sounds, any of that. Super sensitive to it right now. So let me know in the comments if you're feeling the same. Okay, so here's another thing coming up too. We have a upcoming Mars, the planet of action. Can be heat. This can be anger and aggression. If we're walking on our path right now, not working with the cycles, and we're walking around unhealed, Mars, the planet of action, anger, being a hothead, coming into a conjunction with Uranus, the planet of aha moments, sudden changes and shifts, both in the energy of Gemini, communication, our thinking, local, smaller, local community travel. So there can be something coming up there. Watch that with this upcoming energy for other people to have sudden outbursts, accidents in travel, or becoming very angry and irritable very suddenly. This is if you're unaware. If you're aware, try to utilize this energy to... We got to feel safe, Cancer. emotionally stable in a very, very volatile and quick change and sudden change type of an environment. And oh boy, do I fucking struggle with that, right? Uncertainty. And right now, that seems to be magnified. So I'd like to do some cards, and I'm hoping, like I said, I don't know. Let me just hold one up off the top. We'll be able to see it all right. But I think I will turn on a light real quick. We're going to do a few cards for this current energies, and then we will get off here for now. These energies are playing out on a collective, but they're also happening on a personal level, and that's where finding out what your rising sign is in astrology and which house it is in, to be more specific. And I do offer readings on that, to take a deep dive into your astrology chart and do some cards and do some guidance. Always for guidance, never for prediction. So, reach out to me for that as well. I do these by video, and then I send them directly to you. And I'm just getting back into this. So the uncertainty in my life on, Capricorn energy, figuring out ways, and many of us, to be able to sustain ourselves and provide for ourselves in a society where they've made it damn near fucking impossible to financially support yourself without paying the piper, out your ass. So huge common theme coming up with self-worth and feeling worthy, and trying to ride the waves of uncertainty. So yeah, let me grab my I am and a goddess guidance, and then we're going to do some cards. Thanks for being here with me. If you're new to me, please do like, subscribe, and that would be really beneficial. And go ahead and leave comments down below to get the algorithm going. I haven't been on here in a long time, and I'm ready to bring forward the wisdom, the crone energy, the awareness, and even sharing relatable life stories and circumstances with everybody else. As always, I just ask for the Holy Spirit to guide me, to protect me, to help me be a very neutral channel on sharing some information with everybody that's tuned in today, for help, for guidance, for encouragement, and I give thanks in advance, and so it is. I don't know why I hung my glasses up. I can't see a damn thing without them, and like I said, the vision's definitely adjusting again, right? A lot of us are seeing things more clearly. And let's just face it, on your journey when you're spiritually awakening, it's not fucking love and light and butterflies. So it's not even helpful to share that, because it's not relatable for everybody, because let's trust it, it's not always easy on the journey. So from the Astro Star Code deck, we are going to tap in to see what other energies, planets, or aspects are wanting to come forward for us right now, for awareness, for guidance, and maybe encouragement. Which sign, planet, or aspect would like to be highlighted again right now, as we are in the current energies of the Capricorn Full Moon. Boy, is it a beauty too. If you haven't been outside, check it out. If you're under clear skies, it's bright, beautiful, but also very, like, it's ruled by Saturn. It's a very structured, sometimes hard knock, karmic full moon. Card 24. Saturn and structure. So this is asking us to reflect on that. Where do we feel the structure that needs to be adjusted and shifted and changed? We're also, it is not a good time or any time to act out of emotion. We need to bring our emotions into check, and therefore then take our outside dutiful self with more structure. We're being asked right now to make sure that we're thinking about that. Where is it that you want your structure to be adjusted? Which karma are you letting go of? And are you feeling a tension in your joints, your bones, your teeth? The teeth is huge for me right now. So card 24, Saturn and structure. Where does the structure need to be shifted and adjusted in your life right now? What is coming to an end for you with the structure, or perhaps the programming that you were raised with? What have you shed and let go of? Where is it that you are no longer going to carry the programming of your childhood forward into your life with relationships? And the next one is fourth house, home. Like, shit, this is why I am so thankful to be back into this, but I had to get my energy right. Again, very deep inner time that I needed to reflect. Fourth house, mother. What makes you feel emotionally safe? Did you feel heard? Did you feel unseen? Did you feel seen? And where did you seek that outside of yourself? Fourth house, 10th house. Mother, fourth house. Father, structure, 10th house. Emotions, meeting structure. What have you evolved out of? What have you needed to reflect upon with the fourth house, the mother, the upbringing, the programming? Where did your structure show you? With me, it was relationships. It's always about relationships for everybody. Where did that show up in your life? As an empath, as an unhealed younger version of myself, it was codependent relationships. It was narcissism, parasitic narcissists feeding off my energy, my life force, my vitality. I allowed it because I didn't have healthy boundaries. So here we go. I mean, you cannot make this shit up, right? 4 and 2, 6. 4 and 2, 6. A good, healthy balance. Trying to find harmony in uncertain times starts with us. Fuck, you can't make it up. Love it. Now from the Goddess Guidance Oracle, the Divine Mother, the Holy Spirit, the most pure, nurturing, loving energy. Too many. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut. Be a healthy feminine. Well, that one just came right out. Bright future. Stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. Solar plexus energy. Breathe that life force energy into your solar plexus, right around the navel, a little bit above the navel. A lot of us have been feeling like we've been punched in the gut because we were living lives that we didn't even know were as toxic as they were. Feeling like the life force was knocked out of us. Like, literally, have you ever got bucked off a horse and had the wind knocked out of you? That's what many of us have felt like as we have awakened to realize that we were perhaps born into a wounded mother who was just projecting onto us. And I don't think mothers, unless they're a narcissist, intentionally hurt their children. But because of the unhealed wounds and traumas, they've carried that forward. So if you're a lineage holder, you got a hard effing job ahead of you. So you might feel like you're just emotionally taxed, physically exhausted. Again, that's something coming up too with this full moon in Capricorn. It's summertime, right? The sun is out. It's supposed to be full of life and full of energy, and a lot of people are feeling so fucking exhausted and not feeling productive. Perhaps this is your time right now to go deep into your emotions and heal that. So if you're feeling very fatigued, even though it's the peak of summer, you are not alone. I have needed naps. I have been waking up in the middle of the night. I'm feeling exhausted. The sun's shining. You've got all this pressure on you from the matrix of thinking that if you're not physically productive, you're not being productive. It is not true. Nurture yourself. Come home to yourself, to your soul. And worry, I'll be honest, that's been coming up for me, because we have to figure out how we can sustain ourselves in a society that does not want us to be sustainable on our own. You know, you'll own nothing and be happy. So from the spirit perspective, from the nurturing perspective, from the mother, the Holy Mother, the Holy Spirit, she is telling us to hand over our worries to her. And our evolution is not for nothing. Because this one was a little bit longer, I'm going to finish up with an I Am Oracle for a positive affirmation. Again, hot as hell. This full moon buildup has been intense, emotional, and my advice for myself, like, I don't know what it is for you, is I need to let go of the program from the society that says if you're not physically productive, that you're not being dutiful to the society, when no, that's the farthest from the truth, and I beat myself up about it. So preaching to the choir here. The buzzing in the energy in the body is really insane. It's actually quite strong right now too. Trying to decipher whether it's natural or if it's these synthetic frequencies, because we are in a spiritual battle. I am willing to let go. I am willing to let go. So whatever rose or was triggered within you on tuning into this, on reflecting on emotions and what we've been programmed to believe, the letting go of not only toxic feminine, but toxic masculine, and boy, oh boy, we have to let it go. And I know it can feel isolating, and I know it can feel like you're alone, but we're not. The Divine Mother is telling us we're going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine, even when it doesn't feel like it. Boy, I needed to hear that myself. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I know this was long. I hope that you stuck with it. I hope you found something here to be helpful to you. And until the next time, shalom to you.